Hi again, everybody. This is Dan from Prayer Warriors, and today I'd like to talk about the sure word of prophecy, and it regards the reliability of the Bible. Now, in the New Testament, the disciples saw Jesus' miracles, healings, raising people from the dead, heard him teach and explain the Old Testament and how it pointed to him. Peter, James, and John were with Jesus on the holy mountain, the Mount of Transfiguration, and they saw Elijah and Moses talking with Jesus. They also heard the voice of the Father say that they should listen to Jesus, his beloved Son. And Jesus changed appearance before their eyes, and his clothes turned whiter than humanly possible. The miracles, the resurrection, etc., the disciples had seen were certainly enough and were mind-blowing that they would convince any reasonable person. Now, Peter says in 2 Peter 1, verse 19, that beyond that, we have an even more sure word of prophecy. And that would involve the 300 or so prophecies from the Old Testament that are about the Messiah and Jesus' first coming, his birth, ministry, death, and resurrection, and things in between. Now, many skeptics will say, usually with a condescending sniff, that these were all late dated. Well, the problem with that is that the Old Testament, or Tanakh, was translated into Greek, which is the Septuagint, which that word means 70, about 200 years before Christ. Now, the reason for this is that after Alexander the Great had conquered the known world around the Mediterranean and beyond, Greek became the international language for trade, etc. After a while, Jews couldn't read their own Old Testament or Tanakh in Hebrew. It was kind of like with the Catholic Church using Latin for Mass. Only the rabbis spoke Hebrew pretty much by this time. So 70, some say 72, scholars translated the Old Testament into Greek so that the common man could read their own scriptures. All the prophecies, therefore, were in black and white and in your Jewish Barnes and Noble 200 or so years ahead of time. And that's a matter of historical record. Now we get to the odds and why this is a more sure word than even an eyewitness account. Anything that has about a 1 in 10 to the 50th power is considered absurd. It couldn't happen. We get into much greater odds than that as we go. Well, let's start with a person fulfilling just 8 of these prophecies. That would have a 1 in 10 to the 17th power of happening by chance. That's a big number. In 14 billion years, there have been 10 to the 17th power seconds. Now, one person fulfilling these 8 prophecies by chance is the same as finding a marked silver dollar in the state of Texas, where the whole state has been covered 2 feet deep in silver dollars. But wait, there's more. We have 300 prophecies. Well, it gets beyond 10 to the 50th power very quickly. Dealing with only 48 prophecies brings you to 10 to the 149th power, which is way beyond absurd. To think that one person fulfilled them all by chance is just not realistic. Now, you can look into these links below and explore the probabilities and see much more info for yourself. May God richly bless you.